What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of SCUM. This right here, as you all know, is the podcast where we dive into the deep, dark, murky waters with a plethora of legendary guests. I am, of course, your host, your bastard of ceremonies, the number one scumbag, Rex Ruger. That's REXXX. Count them 1, 2, 3. You might also know me as AKA the King of Sleaze, AKA the Hair Metal High Priest, and most importantly, AKA Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. I know it, you know it, my lawyers know it, and soon Diamond Dave will know it too, that I am the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked a few grams. I got a million fans. I'm your ice cream man, Mr. Wop Bop Loo Bop Wop Bam Bam Shazam. Hot damn. Feeling good? Everybody in the house, of course, looking good, including my beautiful audience. For me, that's made possible by, wait for it, my favorite product. You want the quaff like Roth? Get you some. Coming to you as always from the lush Lavender Lounge of Love, joined as always by the great Keith Hernandez Puppet. This is, of course, the No Frills podcast. You don't get no frills, but you do get plenty of thrills. And, of course, those thrills are looking at the mugs of your two beautiful hosts. And today is no different. We got ourselves another legend in the world of sports, fisticuffs, pugilism. Been having some technical difficulties getting them in here, but I hope we've got them sorted out. Speaking of, oh, wait a minute. Here he is right now. So I'll tell my story later. Let's see what we can do here now. Hopefully we got this rectified here. All right. I'm hoping we got this rectified. Yes?
Yes, correct.
You can hear me good now?
Yes, I can hear you good.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad. Yeah. So basically what I did was I went and did a separate call with my son just to make sure that it wasn't something that I was doing wrong on my end. But you're able to hear me now, okay?
Yes.
Awesome. Good. Awesome. SERGEI LIAKHOVICH, I'm so happy to have you here, man, and be able to chop it up with you a little bit about boxing here. First of all, at this stage of your life, are you still a big fight fan? Do you watch a lot of boxing now that you're retired?
Yeah, I will say so, but you know what? It's like time to time. But when there's like big fights coming up, or I'm watching, but just preliminary and lots of. I don't have a time for this.
At the time of this recording right now that we're doing this episode, it has now been I think a week or two since the Lomachenko fight. Now, that was obviously a very big fight. Another fantastic Eastern European fighter in Vasily Lomachenko. You know, we don't need to tell boxing fans that. They know how great he is. What did you think of the outcome of that fight, though?
I said this so many times. I love boxing. I love boxing, but I hate boxing politics. And I think this is what happened with Vasily Lomachenko. It was my personal opinion. I think he won that fight.
Me too.
But what behind the closed door, nobody knows. And this is what I think. Ruined boxing. That kind of stuff.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Now, you held the WBO title back in 2006, and you stepped in the ring against some guys that are notoriously big punchers in the heavyweight division. As a heavyweight, you're talking about you're running with the real big guys here. In your opinion, out of the guys you fought, who was the hardest puncher? Was it Wilder?
I will not say so. Why he punched real hard. Nobody take anything from him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he played. This is what I don't like about that kind of guys. He played every time on the edge. What I mean about on the edge, he played on the edge of the fall. If if nobody behind you, if you understand me right.
Yep.
I think he will get away with this stuff. What he did all the time. I'm talking about on my personal opinion, it's illegal punches.
Okay.
But he played right on the edge, especially when just depends how you look, and where is referee and how can you punch and this. So it's just like, I will not say he's obvious, like a tremendous puncher,
Yeah,
tremendous puncher. But
yeah,
with his skills and his power, I think, uh, instead of play this kind of, on my personal opinion, stupid game, he needs to just get rid of everything from his mind and just punch, I will say, clear, and and everybody will see what kind of power and everything else.
I want to get your opinion on we're seeing a lot of these boxing matches now, if you want to call them boxing matches. These I call them gimmick fights, where you see these guys like Jake Paul, these YouTubers. Do you like this stuff, or is this bad for boxing?
I personally, they make money.
Yeah,
I don't.
they
I
sure
don't.
do.
I don't. But I think I don't think this is good for boxing. I don't think so. It's that kind of a stuff. And this, I think it's like, my personal opinion, guys, old timers, is like a slap on the face with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And in your opinion, and thankfully now we're starting to see some of these big fights. It started with Tank and Ryan Garcia, and then we just saw obviously Lomachenko and Haney. We're finally going to see Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. So big fights are starting to get made, and I think boxing's really been calling for this for a long time. For the great ones to fight the great ones. But did Floyd Mayweather kind of ruin things as far as kind of setting the bar where guys think they can only be considered great if they retire undefeated?
It's hard for me to say. I respect Floyd as a fighter.
Yeah,
he's doing what he's doing. Nobody blame him. My personal opinion,
right.
blame him for that. But it's hard for me to say. I will say it's hard for me to say. It's he did what he did, and he again, he make money. And this is what I think takes so much from boxing.
Right.
Right now, especially, and this era, they're looking how to make much as they can, and this is fine. But they missing so much from boxing. You see what I mean? Same
Right.
with the Jack Paul and everybody else. That kind of category.
But is the problem, though, that when a guy like Floyd retires and he's undefeated, are other guys afraid to make big fights because it seems to be now that nobody wants to lose? If they have that O and they're undefeated, it seems like nobody wants to lose that O, which obviously, you're still a great boxer, even if you've got some losses. Manny Pacquiao has losses. Sugar Ray Robinson had losses. It doesn't necessarily mean that you didn't have a great career if you've got losses, correct?
Correct. I totally agree with you.
And so I think some of these big fights don't get made because guys, I think they see, I'm going to lose my O, and that means I'm going to be looked at differently.
This is how they think, and this is what people, maybe, probably not all people, but so many people think like that too. If you have a one or two losses, that's it. It's something is not right. But
right.
This is a boxing. Sometimes you come on a horse. Sometimes you just fell from the horse.
Right. Is the fact now that Lomachenko is 17-3, is that detrimental to his career now to be at 20 fights and have 3 losses already, or can he bounce back from this?
I think he bounced back.
Yeah,
and he has, I will say, he still has a tremendous potential. I like Vasily. I like how his fighting style, and it just what fit him, and he has future.
And when you see a terrible decision like we just saw in the Loma and Haney fight, and I agree with you, I thought Loma won the fight either, for sure. When you see something like that happen, though, and he's at the age that he's at, though, I mean, what should be his next move? Well, first of all, do you think boxing will make this right? Obviously, Loma's team is calling for that fight to be called a no contest and to instantly have them do a rematch. Do you think boxing will do something that extreme? Obviously, the most extreme would be to strip Haney of the titles and give them to Loma, which I don't think they will do.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to happen.
That won't happen. But do you think he deserves a rematch, though?
I think so, 100%.
Yeah. But will boxing do that, though?
What is what?
Do you think boxing will do that, though? Do you think boxing will,
for me,
in?
I understand, but for me, it's hard for me to say anything right now because of that kind of craziness and politics all around the boxing. You can't like in boxing especially in boxing, but in boxing business, forget about you can't predict anything.
Yeah. When you look back on the fight with Shannon Briggs, now and I'm sure you've been asked about it a million times, but do you look back on that fight with any kind of regrets about what you could have done differently in round 12? I mean, a lot of the commentators were saying afterwards that if you survived round 12, you definitely had the fight in the bag. You know what I mean? Do you regret the way you went about the 12th round?
Yes, actually, I regret it. But you know what? It's happened, and this is, it's a part of life. But if I will turn time clock back, I probably what I can do in that kind of situation, I'll just step back a little bit, start moving, throw my jab, and not get to that kind of, I was stupidity and that kind of craziness, go, with a flat foot, and go forward, and that kind of stuff.
Did you get the sense in that 12th round that Briggs was tired? I mean, obviously, he's certainly been under scrutiny in the past, for conditioning and kind of getting into the later rounds and starting to fade. Did you get that sense from him that he was tired and very desperate in that round?
I will say on that time I didn't take it clearly, especially I said this so many times. I came to the corner and first words from my coach, he told me, he's just be careful, just careful, he's able to do so, this and that. But he said I don't know, we up or down. What he said this to me, especially on that kind of I know I was winning by points, but you said you can't see yourself on a mirror. And
right.
when you came to the corner and your corner said to you, I don't know, we're up or down. But he said, I don't know, we're up or down, but stay away and this and that. But when first he said this, we do not know. So this is what makes a fighter, makes me to do something, and this is what I think, this is what happened.
And you also in your career fought Nikolai Valuev, I think is how you say his name. Huge guy, absolute monster-sized guy. 7 feet tall, well over 300 pounds. Do you think when you get a guy that big in boxing, does that make you think that maybe boxing should have a super heavyweight division? Is that guy too big?
No, I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so. No. And I know, I heard you, and this is what I heard so many times. They start talking about to make adjustments, with these kind of guys, and who is a little bit 200 pounds and up. I forgot, what like pounds range. I cannot say right now, but I don't think so. If you have what it takes to get in the ring and be prepared and ready, and especially when you're over like 200 pounds, you're able to do so many different things.
Yeah.
And great examples to this is Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
Rocky Marciano, Mike Tyson, and all that kind of guys. Just look and see. So I don't think this is necessarily like to make that kind of heavyweights, or like I don't know how they call them, like heavyweight, super
Yeah.
heavyweight, or
Well,
monster heavyweights.
yeah, monstrous heavyweights. Yeah, that's its own division, monstrous heavyweights.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously, speaking of big heavyweights, obviously, the main guy right now is Tyson Fury, a large guy in his own right. When you see a guy like that, like, what's your assessment of him and the current heavyweight division right now? I mean, obviously, there's other heavyweights out there right now. Everyone's always claiming to be, the top dog in the heavyweight division. Is he the top guy right now, though? I mean, obviously, we recognize him as the champ, but are there guys out there right now who could beat him?
I don't. I don't see right now anybody like a close in the horizon. Maybe like I'm like a little bit far from boxing right now.
Yeah.
I don't know who is in the division, but what I see, Tyson, yes, what it takes, to win, and he used what he has, and he's doing this pretty good. He has just like a very awkward big guy, and he just pull all these tricks when he needs to. So he's like a real good heavyweight, real good fighter.
And you grew up and were born and raised in Belarus, correct?
Correct.
And what was your upbringing like? Like, how early did you know that you were going to be a boxer? How young did you start?
I started when I was 12.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
And go ahead.
Yeah, and my actually, who introduced me to boxing is my father.
Okay.
This is how everything started. He was like a big role in my, I will say, boxing career.
And I want to ask your opinion. Going back last month when we saw Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis fought, a lot was made about this rehydration clause, where like he could only put on a certain amount of weight. Obviously, that doesn't affect you guys in the heavyweight division. But do you like a tactic like that, though, like trying to drain somebody and make sure that they come in at a certain size? Is that a good tactic, or is that crap?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say.
I mean, it's a little ridiculous, though, right? I mean, like, because you were just saying about, Nikolai Volov being so much bigger than you. I mean, you wouldn't want to put anything in a contract that would make him have to be a certain size, right? Crazy.
No, it is crazy.
It's nuts, right? I mean, if you feel like you can beat a guy, you should feel like you can beat him whether he's got 10 pounds on you or 15 pounds on you, right? I mean,
correct.
Stupid. I don't understand sometimes. I mean, it's boggles my mind sometimes, how they enter into these agreements and this kind of stuff comes up. It's just, are there guys out there right now in boxing that you're particularly a fan of? Do you follow anybody's career?
Not really.
No.
Not really. Like I will tell you the truth. Not really. I'm not in like right now. It's like big boxing follower. Like it's just I have like so much in my life. Kids, wife. Like a life, all this stuff.
You put it behind you. Yeah.
Yes.
And so with that being said, and I get the feeling I know the answer to this already, but we see so many guys in their 40s and their 50s come back. Is that anything that you would ever do, even an exhibition fight or anything, or are you done?
I think I'm done.
That's it, huh? Finish. I don't blame you though. I mean, I think it's dangerous when a lot of these guys come back in their 40s and 50s. You see guys like Mike Tyson that we mentioned, and Roy Jones, and some of these guys coming back older. Certainly they put themselves at a lot of risk for injury.
Yeah. Yes.
Not
Correct.
smart.
Yeah.
So for you, what has life after boxing been like for you? You mentioned you got a family. You mentioned you got kids. How are you spending your days now after boxing?
It's like I will say for me, it's a normal routine. My kids in school, and me and my wife. We have business, real estate business. We help
Okay.
each other. And just stay busy with the kids, with life, and with our business.
And any of the kids potential boxers or no?
No.
That's good, right? That's good. And the real estate business has to be good because nobody's trying to punch you, right? Or maybe they are. I don't know. I hope not.
Like, hey, you never know. It's a crazy business.
Not in today's world. You do never know. So another fight that you had going back, I believe when you won the title, you beat Lamont Brewster. Another guy that's very intriguing to me, a guy that seemed to have a very high ceiling, but yet doesn't seem to be mentioned, in terms of all the greatest, the greatest heavyweights. How do you assess his talent? Was he kind of like middle of the road kind of guy?
I don't know. It's like he's like he has. I will say like about Lehman. He has something. He has something special.
I always thought so too. Yeah.
He's like he's very. I will say like, especially when he was fighting, very intriguing guys. Like you don't know everybody expects something exciting, and
Right.
And when he fought, he brought this excitement all the time. I will say, he's I will say he's a special boxer, very special fighter.
Are there guys when you were fighting though, and you were, an active in the heavyweight division? Are there guys that you wanted to fight and those fights didn't happen?
I will say so. So a couple of guys, I know it's so many pulling and tagging when I was a champion between me and Vladimir Klitschko. He just said something,
Yeah.
he just, and I said, and he said, and all this, and on that kind of fight, I will say probably, not probably, I would on that time, if everything is lined up good, I would love to fight that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Never happened. Never happened.
And do you have an idea in your mind as to why that fight didn't happen? Was it more politics? Do you feel like he was avoiding you? Obviously, they always say styles make fights. Did he maybe think that you would pose a problem for him? Because he has had problems with big guys that were very mobile. Obviously, we saw him have problems with Tyson Fury. You were a big guy that moved extremely well. Do you think do you think there was any inclination for him to avoid you?
It's not, he is I will say, he is like in real estate.
Yeah.
He wanna have a deal. He wanna have a deal right now, and and when it's time, when time and everything on his side, and he wanna get and grab this deal when I will say when somebody is not ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and he clicked this, and he wanna pursue it, and but if something going not on his way, I think this is what happened between me and on that time when we supposed to fight each other.
Right.
He wants something. Something right away, and he just he wants how he wants, and I don't want what he wants, and I didn't have a time to to do this right and prepare. And this is what happened between me and him.
Is there anything, being as that you're retired now, is there anything about the boxing life and the boxing lifestyle that you miss?
I will. You know what? It's a good question, but I will say so. You know what I'm missing? Like actually, I went. Believe it or not, like after when I was retired, I never been in the boxing gym.
Yeah.
never put any gloves on my hands. Never
Yeah.
did anything. But what I missed, like that kind of, I will say, it's hard to explain. Like when you step in the gym, when you prepare for the fight, you have smell this adrenaline. Like this
Yeah.
fear when you step. Like open the door and step to the gym, like, and I think this is what I miss, that kind of like a danger a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever entertained the idea of, and I know you mentioned you don't want to come back and do any fighting, but, do you crave any kind of involvement in the sport in any other ways? Training, you see a lot of guys get into promoting, do you have any interest in any of those ancillary jobs in boxing?
Not right now.
No, but possibly down the road.
Maybe, who knows? You never know.
Yeah, never say never.
Never say never.
Yeah. And when you look at when you look at the heavyweight division, and obviously that's not something that you guys in the heavyweight division have to concern yourself with, killing yourself and making weight. Obviously, probably nobody misses that if they're a boxer. Those going away to camp and having to drop weight and stuff like that. Did you ever, and forgive me for not knowing this, but did you ever campaign at any other weights other than heavyweight? You fought at a lighter weight though, didn't you?
Oh yeah, when I was coming up, when I was growing up, yes.
And you were what, a cruiser or light heavy?
Oh, believe it or not, I started when I was almost like a welterweight.
Really?
Yeah, I was I was welterweight, but for one summer, I will never forget. We went to the training camp, and I came back, and like after 3 months, nobody recognized me. My mom, and my dad didn't recognize me. And I was like, "Wow, what happened with you, boy?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
nothing." I grew I forgot, it's almost 11 centimeters, and gain weight, I was 80. Everybody didn't recognize me. I'm not, and I was in shape, not not fat, but I was in shape.
Yeah. And as far as a workout routine now post boxing, do you still hit the gym or do any kind of workout regimen?
Yes, actually, believe it or not, what I started 2 days ago.
That's the right time.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I miss it. I miss it. Just workouts. You see what I mean? I'm not talking about craziness. I think I miss, especially right now. I spend time with my wife and my kids in the gym. And I love it.
Are you happy that you don't have? Are you happy? And I don't know. Do you have boys or girls?
I have a boy and I have a girl.
Are you happy and relieved in a sense that your boy doesn't want to get into boxing? Because obviously we see, the long-term effects when people stay in boxing a long time. Obviously, we know the damage that can be done. And it's certainly, I don't know if anybody wants to sit there and watch their kid get punched in the face for a living. But are you happy in a way that your son doesn't crave boxing?
Actually, yes, I will say yes, I am. But he chose another a crazy sport. He chose hockey.
And Jesus. Yeah.
right now, just only what I hear from here, and only what we're talking about, hockey and players,
Yeah,
and I like a Crosby, Ovechkin, and like
yeah.
a basis. I was like, is it is what it is.
So he's entering a sport where he still could wind up losing some teeth.
Uh, I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, you better have a good dental plan. Sock that money away for some. I tell you, man, it seems like none of those guys ever have a full set of teeth in their head. I don't know, but I mean, that's a dangerous sport, though. It really is. I mean, all due respect to boxing, which is my favorite sport. Certainly, obviously, the physicality of boxing in the UFC. I don't think it's paralleled. I mean, I don't think it's rivaled by any other sport. But hockey, very rough. Those guys are rough.
Yes, it is. It is.
And
I,
and
uh-huh.
and where does he get the hockey from? Are you good on the skates, big man, or no?
Like everybody asks me that question. I don't know how to skate.
Me neither. No, me neither.
That's it. So I don't know how he got. Actually, we tried, believe it or not, we tried to escape, like at this heat in Arizona, and
Yeah.
we decided to take both our kids to the ice rink. They escape heat, but they started they learn how to skate, this and that. Then hockey stick, and he started loving it. I was like, oh, it's okay with me. If you want to do it, do it.
Yeah, I'm amazed at those guys though, because it's not only the fact that they can, that they're allowed to fight, but just when you watch them though, just that ability to skate and skate backwards, and just you got that goddamn puck flying at you at 100 miles an hour. I mean, there's a lot of chaos going on out there. It's crazy.
Yes, that's true. True.
And when you look back on your boxing career, what would you say the accomplishment that you're most proud of is? Obviously, in '97, you won a bronze medal at the Amateur World Championships. I said before, you held the WBO title. Is there one thing in your career that you're the most proud of?
Yes, one that WBO world to become WBO world champion.
Yeah.
And to have this, this is actually, thanks God, he gave me that opportunity and chance, fight and win the title. It was amazing. It's like a greatest experience, one of the greatest experience in my life.
And do you think right now, because I know this is bandied about amongst people, and certainly debated among people, and it's a very polarizing topic. But do you think that there's too many sanctioning bodies in boxing? Are there too many champions at every weight? Obviously in the old days there just used to be one heavyweight champion. Now we've got the WBO, the WBA, the BC, the IBF. We got a lot of guys out there that have a piece of championships. Is that a good thing?
Just depends how you see this. What is I will say in I was in the I will say in your wallet, in your money perspective, yes.
Yeah.
But to the public, for me, it's a little bit hard to recognize. Recognize, how can you say in one division you have 4 champions?
Yeah.
And so who is a real one champion?
Right. Right.
What boxing people miss, that kind of stuff, to be recognized, only one champion in whatever division you choose.
Right. I obviously you got a lot of guys running around with different belts. You got Tyson Fury who stakes his claim to the lineal heavyweight champion. You got that dragged into the picture, the lineal, and then all the other belts. But in your opinion right now, is he the guy that everyone's chasing? And talk a little bit about his legacy. He always makes the claim that he's going to go down, especially if he ends up staying undefeated, that he will go down as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. But do you think that's a fair assessment? Do you think there's enough competition in today's heavyweight division? Has he fought enough guys? Is there enough guys on his resume? Is there enough guys even in the heavyweight division nowadays, to put together a good enough resume to say that you're the greatest, as opposed to when Joe Louis fought, or Rocky Marciano, or Mike Tyson back in the 80s? Is the division deep enough right now to say, hey, I'm the GOAT because I retired undefeated, and I mean, he's got the 3 victories. Well, he's got 2 victories, but we all kind of think that he kind of won that first fight with Wilder too, even though it was a draw. But does he have a claim to say that he's the greatest heavyweight of all time?
Again, look, he is good, real good. Nobody take anything from him, and he deserves what he deserves. But it's, for me, it's hard. You can't, I don't like this. My personal opinion, I don't like when guys like him, start saying I'm the best ever, this and that. You can't say he's the best on his era. Yes, correct.
Yeah, of his era.
To his era, but same thing is like with Floyd, he's like, oh, I'm the best ever. It's talk cheap, I will say, talk cheap. And when these guys they start saying like that, I don't think this is, again, it's me. I don't think this is the right thing to say I'm the greatest ever.
Yeah,
you can't say you can say I'm the great in my generation, my era, whatever, but not ever.
Right. That's a big claim to make. Yeah, it is. Especially considering the rich history of the heavyweight division. There's been a lot of great ones, I mean.
Absolutely. It's I love, this especially, I love, fighters from 40s, 50s, the best from, I will say, 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's great era.
Well, I find it amazing that, when you look back at those eras that you're talking about, the 40s and the 50s, those guys didn't just fight 1 or 2 times a year. Those guys were fighting every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks. You know what I mean? They were, fought and then healed up, and then they were right back in the ring again.
I know this is what amazed me. I don't know how these guys, I did it and what it takes, but for me, just amazed to see that kind of resume, when you see they. I will say Archie Moore.
Yeah.
It's unreal. It's unreal. Yeah. He just fought a once a week or twice a month or something it's unreal.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys, from what they made, it's for me still right now, it's biggest respect to that area and to that kind of guys.
And now you mentioned Archie Moore, and you're talking about fighters from that era. When you were coming up, and I imagine that you certainly got a lot of motivation from watching old tapes and old fighters and everything like that. Was there anybody that you particularly were a huge fan of and used to study a lot?
I love one of my favorite fighter is Jersey Joe Walcott.
Oh yes, yeah.
He is like that kind of shift and a move and hit. It's unbelievable, and powerful and speed. It's unreal. Joe Louis, Jersey Joe Walker, I would say Ezra Charles, that kind of guys. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It doesn't even seem like there's a comparison, with those eras to these guys nowadays. And that's no disrespect to these guys nowadays. It's just the boxing game was so different back then. I mean.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. And I'm not taking please understand, I'm not taking anything from guys who is fighting right now or, when I was fighting, they're great. But, I will say, I can't compare anybody from my era, to those kind of guys. I can't.
Right. And I want to get back to you did fight Shannon Briggs. We still see Shannon out there. He's still yelling, "Let's go, champ." He's still trying to get fights. He's still out there, at his age, fucking running down guys and crashing press conferences and doing whatever the hell he can. And he's damn near fucking 50 years old, which just boggles my mind. But is that a wise move for him to do, at his age, or should he just stop? He seems to have a lot of passion, and he seems to really believe that he can still fight at a high level. But is that a wise move? When you get to a certain age and you've taken punishment on the heavyweight level, obviously heavyweights punch differently He's been in there with Lennox Lewis. He's been in there with a lot of guys, Vitaly Klitschko. He's been in there with a lot of guys that have really hit him hard. You know, and of course, every man has the right to do, you know, whatever he wants to do. You know, but do you like that kind of a move, though? Like when a guy gets older, you know, to still be trying to get fights?
You know what? It's hard for me to say anything about, you know, like this kind of movements, especially what he is doing. Maybe he needed, I will say.
Yeah.
Or maybe like, you never know. Maybe he still have, you know, what it takes, you know, like to become, you know, like I will say not a champion, to become something. So maybe he will try to prove something to his. For me, it's hard to say, you know, especially on this kind of age. It's very, very hard for me to say anything.
So we've established the fact right now, Sergey, that we're not going to see a comeback, right? We already put that to bed. We're not seeing a comeback. The son is not going to box, so we got that all straightened out, right? He's only going to lose his teeth in hockey. That's it. Nobody's going to punch him in the face, though. Well, actually, I can't say no one's going to punch him in the face because other hockey players on the pro level are going to punch him in the face, or try to anyway.
Yes.
But I think he'll have a very good advantage, though, because, you know, if he becomes a hockey player, you know, you can kind of teach him a little bit of
boxing. You know what is? I have few friends, you know, like who played on a high level on NHL, and I spoke with them, you know, like, and it's different. It's different. It's the same, like just like one guy said, like he's like, hey buddy, you know, like I can like I don't want to like any part of you like outside the ice rink. But like, on the ice rink, absolutely. And I said, like, I don't know how to skate, so only when I can hold the board and maybe can do something. So it's not a chance, man.
I certainly feel like if I was out on the ice and I'm skating around and I'm looking for a guy that on the other team that I want to fight, if I know in the back of my mind that guy that's out there skating has a father that was a professional boxer, he's probably not the guy. He's probably not the guy that I'm going to go pick a fight with. I mean,
I don't know about that, but you know what? It's like all games. When you're in a game, you think what is appropriate right now and what is fit you. So yeah, I can't say anything.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Especially right now, he's young. You know, he's like 13. He will be 13 years old, so he's a still young boy.
Right. So on that level, right there, man, like when you're playing hockey at that young of an age, they probably strongly discourage fighting. Right. That's a no at that age.
You know what? Believe it or not, you know, like I saw actually a couple of you know, like a year ago, you know, when we played. I forgot. I think in a city close by to us, you know, like, and like our guy from our team, you know, like, he started fight.
No kidding.
Yeah, like, ref, you know, pulled him apart. But like they gave him like a five minutes or something. But you know, and then look, they missed like a next game. But they're still there.
Well, yeah, because I do feel like when you're becoming a teenager like that, you know what I mean, and your adrenaline and you're getting into puberty and you're starting to kind of feel full of yourself a little bit. I imagine those kids probably do like to get a little testy.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you're not going to stop them. You know what I mean? You're not going to stop them from having that little bit of an attitude. I mean, I've got kids myself. I don't know a teenager yet that doesn't have an attitude. You know, I mean, they all do.
Yeah.
Just got to channel the right way. You just
ahead.
got to channel it the right way. That's all, you know. But
yeah, he is like, you know, like how many kids do you have?
3.
3. Oh, so you know, like especially my boy, you know, like exactly what are you talking about? You know, like I will say a year or a year and a half ago, you know, he just like one time in the morning, I don't know what happened. But you know, he just, you know, he walked in the kitchen. He's like started to like give me that kind of look. I was like, whoa. I was like, hey, like, take it easy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I know. And I can't believe that of all the fathers, he's going to be sizing you up. I mean, come on, Jesus.
It's funny.
But yeah. I've got 3 of my own, but they're all pretty much grown though. But I've got 6 grandkids though too. So I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, all small. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm 50 years old, so I mean, all my
Okay.
kids are all my kids are old and out of the house.
Okay.
Yeah, I got an empty nest here, Sergey. I got an empty nest, and I like it. I do. I like it. It's quiet.
That's it. Great.
Yeah, and I will say that I'm glad that you're retired, and I'm glad that you're retired and you're doing so well, and you've got all your faculties about you, because boxing obviously is a very dangerous sport, and of course you're seeing more and more research being done on the effects of getting punched, and obviously we see a lot of guys who come out of the other side of the sport, that don't fare so well. So I mean, obviously it's a testament to how well you've taken care of yourself, because you certainly seem to have all your marbles, so to speak, which is good. Because it is a dangerous sport. It is a dangerous sport.
It is very dangerous. And this is what all this like guys and all these celebrities probably they don't understand this. But when you
Right.
just like when you're real deal, and especially when you grown up in boxing and you have like lots of experience, you understand what it takes to get to the, I will say, forget about world champion, I'm just
Right.
talking about get to the certain level in this sport,
Right.
what
Right.
it takes, and so many people they don't understand, so it's sad.
Is it important to have a very long amateur career? And do you think in the case of Lomachenko, who had almost 400 amateur fights, did he stay amateur too long, or is there a set amount of fights that you think is a right or wrong answer to how long you should stay in the amateurs? Because Loma obviously had a very long amateur career, but do you think he fought too many fights in the amateurs, and maybe maybe should have abbreviated his amateur career a little bit and started as a pro earlier? And again, we can play devil's advocate, and I don't want to second guess the career choices he's made. But how long did you stay amateur?
I was staying as an amateur for, I will say, like 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years. And I think, believe it or not, especially it's different over there and over here. I had 160 amateur fights.
Yeah.
It's lots of, and I think this is what caused me so many problems in, I will say, in amateur, and when I turned pro, because so many injuries, and it's hard for me to say for how many fights or how long you need to be an amateur or something like that. It just for everybody is different, and some guys some guys we have great examples. Nobody, some guys they didn't have any fights in amateurs,
Right.
and they're like superstar in pro. So it's hard for me to say. And for Loma, he's, this is how we was grown up, just like with especially he's from Ukraine, I'm from Belarus, but it's still, I will say, all Soviet Union, and nobody changed that. And we fought regular and just fight after fight after fight. So it's what is fit him is maybe didn't fit different person, different boxer.
And do you think the conflict, that, and I certainly commend Lomachenko for stepping away from boxing and going and serving his country and the conflict that they had with Russia. But do you think that, do you think that layoff, or just the effects of going and serving his country, do you think that it all played into the fight with Haney? Do you think he might have had a lot on his mind, or he's been through so much, in the past year, with everything that's going on in the Ukraine? Do you think that could have been a distraction or something that affected him?
I will say so. Say so. especially like what is going on right now and in Ukraine. It was like it's horrible. I will say it's horrible.
Yeah.
And absolutely, I believe this is affect him. And
How could it not? I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. If he is in a, he probably he never been in the front line,
right.
but still, like to be there and to see, to speak, it's so much.
Right. And especially
I
the
can,
worrying about, the worrying about your relatives, worrying about your family, having all those things weigh on your mind has got to be very stressful and difficult.
yes, 100%.
Well, I want to say, first of all, thank you for the patience. We finally got this call to work, even though we were having some technical difficulties at the beginning. But I'm so honored to have had you come on here and talk to me for a little while, man. And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And I thank you so much for doing it, Sergey. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the interview. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish y'all the best going forward, and all the best to you and the family. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Later, champ. Bye-bye. There he goes, folks. Sergei LIAKHOVICH. He was once the WBO heavyweight champion. That's more than a lot of you people are going to do out there. The guy was at the pinnacle of the boxing game. That's right. Much like I was. I forgot to tell him that my record is 18-0, 18 knockouts. I got out of the game just in time. But, Sergey's lucky he never had to butt heads with me, but hey, hopefully, maybe if I am going to do some editing, maybe I should just edit out that last 30 seconds. I don't want Sergey to come over here from Arizona and take my head off. But he was a great champion. Was in there with Lamont Brewster, won the title from him, a guy with a lot of talent. And he was in there with some big bangers. Win, lose, or draw. You can't deny the fact that he was in there with Shannon Briggs and Deontay Wilder. 27-9 in his career, 17 KOs, very storied amateur career, won a bronze medal in the heavyweight division at the 97 Amateur World Championships. And like I said, held the WBO heavyweight title in 2006, and was in there with a lot of bona fide monsters and killers in there. So salute to any man that steps through the ropes, regardless of their record or regardless of their accomplishments. Speaking as somebody whose favorite sport is boxing, it is no joke. These guys have no teammates to defer to. They have nobody to point the finger at or blame. Oh, the shooting guard didn't do his job. Oh, the pitcher pitched a bad game. No. These guys are going out mano, squaring up with another man. And, there's no scapegoat. There's no fail safe. There's none of that bullshit. These guys are out there, and it's just them and another man, and that's probably what I love about the sport so much. But anyway, I want to thank Sergei LIAKHOVICH so much for coming on here, man. Always a pleasure to get to talk to fighters on here and chop it up about boxing. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you to Sergei. Oh, let me finish with my story, though. I think I was about to get into it right before Sergei joined the interview. At the time of this recording, last night I lost 6 episodes because of technical difficulties and losing them in my Google Drive. They were such good episodes, and I was going to be so excited to bring them to you. The good news is I've reached out to the 6 people, and they seem receptive to running the interviews back. And so I want to send out a big thank you to all of them. They know who they are without mentioning all their names. I'm sure when I redo the interviews, we will touch on it at the beginning of the interview, like, hey, take 2. We will be running it back again, though, but had some just great guests from some great bands. And I hope to redo those. All the technical glitches and problems are rectified and worked out right now. We're back up and running again. Had a little bit of a meltdown last night, and did go off on a tech support guy, and may or may not have snapped a pair of my reading glasses in half in a fit of rage. But hey, I pour a lot into these interviews. A lot of prep goes in behind the scenes, and very proud of the content that I put out there, man. And it's a bummer to lose that stuff. But everything seems to be rectified now. New accounts have been made. Things have been squared away. We are back up and running. I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it, regardless of if I get to redo all 6 episodes or 2 or 3 of them. The show goes on. There's no crying in podcasting. So that being what it is, man, I do want to, again, send out a big thank you to those 6 guests. And very humbling to have to reach out to them and throw myself on their mercy. But, they all seem to understand the situation at the time of this recording and at the time of this happening last night. 123 episodes in and no technical difficulties at all, outside of the fact that I'm shitty with technology and 50 years old and, don't edit anything or know how to do. I know how to do very little, but the very little that I know how to do well. But when I get into deeper waters, problematic. And that is what happened to me last night. But so there's my little venting right there. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Thank you to SERGEI LIAKHOVICH for coming on here. And until we get together and do this thing again, remember, kids, take it easy and keep it sleazy.